Johnny Whitaker still won't watch this one episode that he filmed. His birth name was John Orson Whitaker Jr., and he was born in Van Nuys, California, on December 13, 1959. Johnny was the fifth of 8 children born to Thelma and John O. Whitaker. He was a senior from a very young age, and his natural charm and sincerity made him stand out in front of the camera. With his beautiful red hair, charming smile, and undeniable screen presence, he captivated viewers and quickly became famous at a time when TV was quickly becoming the most important cultural force in American homes. Johnny Whitaker started working as an actor when he was only 3 years old, which is very young. He had natural ability and charm that caught the attention of advertisers right away. He got his first job in the entertainment business in a TV ad for a nearby used car lot. This was the start of a lasting career in show business. Whitaker was naturally comfortable in front of the camera, even when he was very young. This skill would soon bring him more attention and fame. Early work in ads set the stage for a long and successful career as a child actor, where he quickly became well known in the United States. As Whitaker's fame grew, he started to show up in national TV ads for Mattel Toy Makers, which was one of the biggest toy companies at the time. People mostly remembered him for the cute ads he did for Mattel's Animal Yackers toy line, where he voiced characters like Larry the Lion and Crackers the Parrot. At the time, these toys were very cool because they could talk when a cord was pulled, making them responsive and animated. The toys were even more appealing to kids because Whitaker talked about them in a lively and excited way. The success of the Animal Yackers line was helped by his voice acting and expressive body language in these ads, which made him one of the most recognizable child faces on TV. When Whitaker's work was just getting started in 1965, it had grown beyond commercials and into TV dramas. It was that year that he got the part of young Scotty Baldwin on the afternoon soap opera General Hospital. The character he played, who would become a long-running part of the soap opera's story, was believable and showed a wide range of emotions. Whitaker was able to show off his acting skills in a more dramatic setting with this part. He was able to show that he could express complex emotions and hold his own with experienced adult actors. In 1966, Whitaker reached a new high point in his career when he was cast in The Russians Are Coming, a big Hollywood movie. The movie was a comedy set during the Cold War that made light of American fear and Russian stereotypes. Brian Keith, Carl Reiner, and Alan Arkin all played lead roles. But even though Whitaker didn't have a big part, his acting stood out, especially about their co-star Brian Keith. Keith thought Whitaker was so talented and professional that when he was soon cast as the lead in the CBS sitcom Family Affair, he personally suggested Whitaker play his nephew on the show. This support would make Whitaker's life different and solidify his place in the history of TV. Family Affair, which ran from 1966 to 1971, was an important part of pop culture at the time. Whitaker's role as Jody Davis was a big part of the show's success. The show was about Uncle Bill Davis, played by Brian Keith, a sophisticated man who finds himself taking care of 3 children who have lost their parents. Whitaker played Jody, one of the twins, along with Anissa Jones as Buffy and Kathy Garver as Sissy, the older sister. Along with Mr. French, Sebastian Cabot, the proper and kind-hearted English butler who added charm and security to the strange family, the kids lived with their uncle in a fancy flat in Manhattan. An interesting fact is that Jody and Buffy were supposed to be different ages at first, but the producers changed the roles to be twins because Whitaker and Jones looked so good together. Whitaker's kindness, humor, and ability to show how vulnerable she was made Jody one of the most loved kid characters on TV. While he was working on Family Affair, Whitaker kept taking on other parts that showed how versatile he is as an actor. He was a guest star on the famous Western show Bonanza in 1968 in an emotional episode called A Dream to Dream, which was written by the show's star Michael Landon. Whitaker showed a deeper, more emotional side of his acting in this episode, which also starred the famous actress Julie Harris. He played a young boy in a story about hope and imagination in the midst of suffering. During breaks from Family Affair in 1969, Whitaker played in The Littlest Angel, a touching TV special produced by the Hallmark. The show was based on a popular children's book. He was the angel in the title, a part that needed both comedic timing and emotional depth. Along with Fred Gwynne and Tony Randall, he shared the screen with them. He did well in a group of experienced players. He was also in an episode of the long-running Western show The Virginian that same year, which shows that he can work in a variety of styles and tones. Whitaker could also play roles in fantasy and comedies. In 1969, he was in an episode of Elizabeth Montgomery's hit magical show Bewitched called Samantha and the Beanstalk. Jack was a modern take on a figure from an old fairy tale that he played. The next year in 1970 he was in the country comedy Green Acres. In The Confrontation he played a character named Willie for the first time, and later played Dinky Watson in an episode called The Beeping Rock. Whitaker also starred in a faith-based movie that same year called A Day for Justin, which was made by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. As the title character, he had a more introspective part that showed how religious his upbringing was to him. After the last episode of Family Affair, Whitaker kept working in films and TV shows. He became known as a skilled and experienced young actor after starring in a famous two-part episode of Gunsmoke in 1971. In 1973, he moved to Saturday morning TV with the lead part in Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, a show made by Sid and Marty Krofft. Whitaker played Johnny, a boy who makes friends with Sigmund, a sea creature that people don't understand. A lot of kids really liked the silly and magical show. The fact that Whitaker is friendly and easy to talk to was a big part of its success. Billy Barty, a famous character actor, and Scott Colden were his co-stars. In the early 1970s, Whitaker also had parts in a number of feature films, mostly with Walt Disney Studios. In 1972, he co-starred in Snowball Express, a goofy comedy about a family that gets an old run-down hotel as an inheritance. The Biscuit Eater, 1972, a touching story about a boy and his dog, and Napoleon and Samantha, 1972, a movie in which he starred with Jodie Foster in her first movie role. These parts helped him get more fans and showed that he could handle both comedic and dramatic roles. He played the title character in Tom Sawyer, a musical version of the classic Mark Twain story, in 1973. It was one of his most famous parts. There were many great reviews of his performance as the naughty but kind boy, and it is still one of his most beloved roles. Over time, Whitaker stepped away from the spotlight and into parts that were more behind the scenes. Whitaker later told Tom Snyder on The Late Late Show that he had worked as a computer expert for CBS, showing that he is smart and flexible in areas other than acting. He also worked as a manager in the entertainment business when he joined Whitaker Entertainment, the talent agency run by his sister. He worked as a talent manager for this company, and even took on Dana Plato, a former child star who was best known for her part on Different Strokes. His work with Plato showed that he still cared about other former child stars and understood the unique problems they often faced. She won the Young Artist Former Child Star Lifetime Achievement Award at the 20th Youth and Film Awards in 1999. This award showed how important he was to many people and how much of an effect he had on future generations of viewers. In addition to recognizing his acting skills, it also praised how well he handled the tough change from kid star to adult professional. In 2012, he came back to entertainment in a new way by co-hosting and creating the Dr. Zod and Johnny Show, a radio talk show. The show, which didn't last long, gave Whitaker a chance to connect with people in a more casual and personal way, showing off his warmth, humor, and knowledge of Hollywood. Whitaker went back to the stage the next year, in 2013, when she was in To Kill a Mockingbird by the Judson Theatre Company. It was a great adaptation of the Harper Lee novel, and he had a small part as Judge Taylor. The appearance brought him back to his acting roots, and showed that he still loves performance. In 2016, Whitaker brought back the world of Sigmund and the Sea Monsters with an appearance in Amazon's new version of the show. In the first episode, he played Zach, a grumpy boat owner who was a